currently breastfeeding, so don't mind my babe and don't mind this like half look of an ensemble. So I just wanted to share how I escaped postpartum depression. Now, let me mind you, all new moms, all people watching this, I am a 5 week postpartum mommy. I'm also a full spectrum certified doula, but my niche is in postpartum and miscarriage, grief, loss, along with labor and delivery. Now, if you are currently postpartum, I just want you to know you're doing a great job. If you need support, I want you to start asking for support. And if you feel a little winded, guess what? We just had a baby. We're just now waking back up. Our bodies are full of hormones that are changing, and you're in a complete rebirth. You're in a transition. There's no more old life. There's no more old you. Everything moving forward is going to be like learning how to ride a bike again. So I just want to remind you to give yourself grace and look forward, stay present, and you know, don't sweat the small stuff. Here you go, baby. Here you go. There you go, mama. So, this is how I escaped postpartum. I just want to say first, I was not depressed at all. There's this thing called downward spiraling where, say, you might start getting anxiety, the anxiety starts flaring up, and then one scenario happens after another scenario, and your body starts reacting. So, I want to say first that I wasn't depressed, but I was going almost going towards a downward spiral with the example that I just gave. So, of course, after you have birth, everything, you're kind of on a high, but you're tired, you're getting adjusted. And then the next thing that happened to me was that I was already going through a little bit of sleep deprivation, trying to get the handle on how do I work the sleep cycle, learning my baby's sleep cycle, in addition to transitioning from my home, for my mom's home. I stayed at my mom's house for maybe 3 or 4 days and then came to my home, so getting resituated. And when I came home, I had my best friend. She was with me for a few days, and so she was assisting with the baby care. And 2 days after my best friend left, I finally got my pediatrician appointment for baby. And imagine going into the hospital for the first pediatrician appointment, and an hour in the appointment, you find out your baby has jaundice. Now, for one, jaundice is common. When I say common, 6 out of 10 babies may get jaundice when they are newborns. The doctor told me this. And one, I've never seen a baby with jaundice. Well, two, I've never seen a baby with jaundice. Three, they wanted to admit my baby in the NICU. Now, when I hear the words NICU, I hear emergency, life going near death, unable to do anything as a parent, not being there, and just like, did I contribute to this as a parent? So I instantly started having a mini meltdown. My partner was there and he was like, it's okay. And I was just like, what should we do? So understanding what it takes to defeat jaundice, the doctor said that the baby would have to be under a blue light therapy. So I started looking up this blue light because, for one, I have hospital anxiety. I didn't realize this until going to prenatal appointments, but I feel like I probably had hospital anxiety prior to prenatal appointments, just from past experiences, not feeling like I'm being heard, having past surgeries. So, hospital anxiety. I talk a little bit about this in my previous videos, in my prenatal. If you look up 3 reasons why I broke up with the hospital, you'd see why I had hospital anxiety, especially during prenatal time. So I started looking up how to get rid of jaundice, and the light therapy was a thing. And I started looking for the blue light myself because I didn't want to admit my baby in a hospital. We were just 7 days. I had her 7 days prior to, and the separation anxiety was hitting hard, really, really hard. And I did not want to put her in the NICU. It just didn't sound like one of those like celebratory things that you sign your baby up to do. Like nobody wants to be in an emergency room, especially a newborn, and I'm breastfeeding. So I asked, like, how long will my baby be in this light therapy? Well, it could be 24 hours, it could be a week. It really depends on how fast her bilirubin goes down. And a bilirubin is something that's within their blood, and that's where the jaundice can be located. So when the bilirubin is high, and my baby's bilirubin was 21.2, which is really high, it's in the critical levels. So I'm so glad God intervened when he did, and we were able to catch it. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the blue light therapy at home. And all of the websites like eBay and Amazon that had it, it wasn't going to make it until like the following week because this was 4th of July, the day before 4th of July. So me and my partner decided to go ahead and, let's admit her. Let's do the grown-up thing, get her the quickest help as fast as possible, and, go from there. And I'm crying and like, oh my God, I don't want to be at the hospital for more than 24 hours, let alone 12. It just started hitting me, like, just my poor little defenseless baby. Like, it was eating up my little heart. So moving forward, we were in the hospital for about 36 hours, sleep deprived. Like, I'm already sleep deprived, but I really wasn't sleeping. So I got to the hospital at, I believe, 9:30 that morning. She was admitted by, like, I'm gonna say 12 afternoon. Didn't sleep until midnight that night, on top of still having to breastfeed. And if you know anything about breastfeeding, sleep is a part of lactation. If you're not sleeping, you're not getting the best lactation. On top of not eating, I wasn't eating either. My first meal wasn't until 7:30ish that night, and I just knew that was crap. So I'm trying to breastfeed her in between, and then I'm getting all these doctors talking to me and nurses trying to put my baby on formula. And it took this one logical doctor to be like, hey, stop trying to get her to do formula. She's breastfeeding. There's nothing better than the mother's breast milk. So, what also ripped up my heart was that they were saying, yeah, you can breastfeed, we can use the breast milk, but can you pump? Can we put it in a bottle? Now, my birth plan, postpartum, I solely wanted to breastfeed. Solely. Because one, I feel like, and there's no disrespect to anybody, but I feel like plastic is so unnatural. And when you think about some of the hidden chemicals that are in plastic and how it's turning hormones, it's articles out there that says plastics from like sippy cups, bottles that we drink, they are high in estrogen. So I'm not even going to deep dive in that, but it's changing our physical bodies over time in micro and macro amounts that you're not seeing right then and there, but it's happening over a period of time. So I personally didn't want to use plastic bottles, even though they're BPA free and they're friendly. I didn't want to use them because, for one, if she's suckling from the tap, I'm giving her everything that she needs. Yeah, I may be more tired because I'm sleeping on a schedule according to feeding and feeding on demand, but that was what I wanted to do. I was mentally prepared to do that. But with her being on light therapy, they were saying the more I take her off the light therapy, the longer it's going to take for the bilirubin to go down. Now, as a parent, that was still my choice. And I chose to go ahead and pump and put it in a bottle. So luckily I already was pumping because I have this like long-term plan that, like, you know, after a year I could still give her my breast milk, whatever I'm overproducing, just save, freeze. She can drink that later, or mix it in foods because it's really high in protein and fat. So I did have some stored milk, but it was at home. So after breastfeeding a few times, I did start pumping after my partner went home, brought some stuff, or, you know, overnight clothes and things. And after I finally went to sleep after midnight and woke back up for her feeding at 3 in the morning, I had my first, you know, catch of milk, and that was when we put her on a bottle. And that broke my heart because that's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't a part of the plan. Now, as a doula, I have to advocate and remind myself, even though it wasn't a part of the plan, what was best for baby, right? And so I did what was best for baby. And with that, moving forward, her bilirubin ended up going down. We ended up leaving the hospital, but had to come back the following day to make sure it stayed down. And I feel like from the day we left, the day we went to the hospital, it took maybe 2 weeks for me to get myself back to, I'm not even gonna say normal, because I'm still trying to figure out what normal is as a new mom. But it felt like I was going in that downward spiral. And let me tell you why. Number one, I can tell my body wasn't lactating as much as it was prior to going to the hospital. And that's because of lack of sleep, not eating, and I lost my appetite. No bueno. Number two, I felt like with the lack of sleep and not being able to feed, I was able to feed her, but it just seemed like, okay, I already used all my breast milk from the storage at the hospital and when I came back home. So as I'm trying to catch up with lactating, it's like as soon as like I'm feeding, she was ready to eat some more, but I didn't have enough in my boobie. So I've already used up all my breast milk, and thank God for my midwives at Kindred Space LA. They had donor's milk, and they gave me a Ziploc bag full of donor's milk. Oh, that saved me. It scared me a little bit to try donor's milk because I'm like, who's this lady who gave me their milk? Like, what do I know about their lactation and what they're putting in their body? But to me, that's way better than formula. So I started giving her donation milk. But it also hurt me on the inside because I'm like, I'm not providing what I need to for my baby. And that hit me mentally and emotionally. And the third reason why I felt like I was downward spiraling was because therapy wasn't therapy. I have a new therapist. We're getting to learn each other, build a rapport. But it just wasn't hitting. She wasn't assisting me the way that I needed to be assisted. And I felt like majority of my therapy appointment, it was more about her talking about my plan versus hearing me or where I was at currently. And my session it wasn't used the way that I wanted it to be used. And the fourth reason, so naturally my partner and I, we're both new parents. This is our first baby together, and naturally I'm the one that's staying up the most because guess what, I'm feeding on demand. And because I still wasn't filling the bottle, yeah, we have a bottle, but and we have donor's milk at this point, but I am not trying, I don't want to use it. I want to be able to provide for my little being. And I just felt like I'm staying up all night. I'm the one majority up. I kind of started getting offended by it because I'm like, do something. Other human with me, do something. Help me. But if I'm majority feeding, like, he doesn't have no milk coming from his ducts. And as far as like just kind of like soothing and watching her after I feed her and put her to sleep, like there's nothing more for him to do. I mean, he can change diapers, but so I felt like, 80% of all of this is falling back on me. And it didn't have to, but that's just how I felt. And so this is how I got out of my postpartum depression before it hit, before it could get worse. I talked to my midwives. One of them are lactation consultants. She gave me the juice and the key tip that I needed to flip everything over. This is what Kimberly told me. She said, you're producing enough milk, but we need to ensure that you're getting enough sleep because that's a part of it. So I need you to tell your partner you need 6 to 8 hours or 4 to 6 hours, whichever works for you guys, to be asleep, unbothered, so that way your body can catch up. You have donor's milk, it's time to use it. This isn't just about you, this is about what baby needs. And I needed her to say that to me. Because my partner has been on board with bottle feeding, and so also so he can feel like, you know, he's having a bonding experience as well. And I needed her to say that. I don't know when the lights were going to click on for myself, but I needed somebody to say that, and I didn't realize until it was being said to me. And I was like, yeah, 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Yeah, I need that. That sounds bomb. Sounds so bomb. So we did try it, but of course, because I mostly spend time with her, I wouldn't say he bothered me, but he like woke me up like, hey, I don't know what to do. Like, you know, she's still, you know, agitated. I don't know what to do. So I did put my mommy hat back on, but I started getting more sleep, which was important to me. The second thing I did was I started going outside. I realized being in an apartment with my mate, with a new baby, I'm not going outside no more. People are coming to visit me, but it's not the same as getting vitamin D. And I remember that before leaving the NICU, they said one of the discharge instructions was to get the baby some light, some natural light. So whether that's in front of a window or going outside, making sure she's getting some natural light so it's, her bilirubin can stay low, and, you know, she's just naturally getting that vitamin D. And I was like, bingo, I need to go outside. So when my postpartum doula came, I didn't even let her in the house first. I met her outside and was like, hey, can we take a walk around the block? My partner has the baby. I just need to walk around the block. And that was my first walk outside of coming and going to the car that I really needed. And it felt so good. It felt so good. So then I started making it a habit. Okay, go outside. Even if it's sitting on the steps. Even if it's just walking to the stop sign and walking back. Go outside. I need to go outside. And mind you, as a doula, I'm going to be in favor of whatever the mom wants, and I'm going to suggest things that I think will be pivotal to the healing process. So if you're in one of those predicaments where you had a tear, or, you know, you had a C-section and you're not able to walk, that's going to be very difficult, of course. But if you can get close to the sun, just step outside, just step near that sun, Lord, it's going to feel so good and revitalizing to your body. Just like that, baby's back asleep. I'm getting the hang of this thing. And the third thing that I did was I called in the grandmas and the great grandmas. I had to call my mom and call my grandma and have them be my other persons, be a part of the support team that they already are, but call them in. I had to bring them off the bench, get on the court, come on, let's play. So what that looked like was the days my mom was off work, I went to her house. She fed me. She allowed me to sleep. She took care of the baby at night. Because I'm a night sleeper. I prefer to go to sleep at night versus the daytime. And I even switched the shift with my partner more. Even though in the daytime, it's going to be a part of time where we're both up together. But I'm like, hey, like if I can go to sleep from 10 to 2 in the morning, I'm going to be up. I got it then. I just need sleep. So the past I'm gonna say I'm 5 weeks. The past 2 weeks of me being postpartum, the last 2 weeks, I've been going over my mom's house on Sundays and Mondays so I can get some rest. It's not like my partner wasn't getting rest, but it's a difference between the grandma's touch. It's so different. There's things that I'm still learning as a new parent, as a doula. Like, how did you put that baby to sleep like that? How were you able to just put her in her crib and she's not asking to get back up? How did you do it? I need to be around. I need to see. I need to be in training for this because there's some techniques that I'm not aware of that I need to have down packed. So that has been a game changer. And of course, you can have your parents or whoever is your support system, your friend, your doula, have them come to your house. But I also think number 4, what assisted me not going into postpartum depression was those 2 days that I was at my mom's house. Me and my partner was able to breathe from each other. That is golden. I think so many people feel like because they're in a relationship that they have to be with their partner all the time, day in, day out, even if they leave together. I feel like it's so much more healthier when you can step away from your partner, go do your own thing, and come back together full of love, missing each other, having stories to tell. And I mean, even though I'm just going to my mom's house, that time apart, I feel like it both allowed us to decompress. Even though I had the baby, giving her to my mom, she's been the only person, her and my grandma has been the only person that's been taking care of her. Being with them, it still alleviated me because I can go step out and have a conversation. I can go around the block and take a walk. I can just lay down. I can journal. I don't have to be on alert. So having that time apart, I feel like it definitely helped rejuvenate us and also miss each other and also share like love. This is what I learned at my mom's house. Like, this is what she's doing. Let's try that at home. So I feel like since I've been in my postpartum journey, I have not had the worst of the worst. I've had the most and the bestest support team, from midwives to lactation consultants to doula to my tribe around me. Since then, I can just say that like life has been getting better. I feel like I'm getting the hang of this mom thing. I feel like, you know, each day I'm learning something new about myself and about my baby and about my partner. And hey, I'm not in postpartum depression. I was downward spiraling for sure. I feel like the first 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks, I can say I was definitely at like a 4 to 6. And in my therapy appointments, she confirmed that as well. And I'm not gonna say I don't feel like I have sleep deprivation, but I do feel like there's some times in between the day that I'm not sleeping as much because now my partner has gone back home, gone back to work, and that's been an adjustment. But I'm proud of myself, and I just wanted to share this live with you all to share. You need to analyze what's going on around you, do mental health checks, but also check in and understand what do you need to get back to you. And the last thing that I recently did and realized after looking at my toes, I was like, bro, I haven't had my toes done since like May. My baby came early, so I just haven't been able to, you know, do the self-care things that I would have been doing by myself anyway. But I realized like, okay, I haven't had a massage since I got pregnant. I haven't done a lot of things since I've had the baby, and now it's time to get back to me. Like, I know I'm mostly breastfeeding, but now that I got this bottle, which that should be another video, like bottle versus breastfeeding, I am now an advocate of bottle and breastfeeding. I feel like it's gold. It's like a hidden gem to creating normacy in your life. But I hope this story inspires somebody. If you feel like you're on a downward spiral, if you feel like you have depression, I'm a behavioral therapist by trade. I'm certified. Um, and I would love to help another mom or moms pull themselves up and out. As a postpartum doula, that is my thing. I love to reinstill a mom. I love to remind them their purpose. I love to help them figure out what their rebirth and their new purpose is as a mom, and not get lost in just, you know how people say, like, since I've been a mom, I feel like I've lost my identity. I help people find their identities, and I help them find their sexy again as a pole instructor who's been certified for more than 12 years. I just love helping new moms reinvent themselves and not get lost in the sauce, because it is so easy. And I'm so glad that as a new mom, as although I am a doula, it's so easy to get lost in the sauce. And being a doula, it requires a lot of advocating for self, um, and just being that person in the ring with the boxer that's like squirting the water, patting their sweat off, re pulling them into that affirmation. I feel like it's a lot to do as not only a new mom, but you just have to be present at times. So I want to be present for someone else. And I'm going to start a mom support group. It's going to be virtual. Not sure when I'm going to host it in person. I'm in California. But if anybody ever wants to share their story, or just needs someone who feels like they're with them, please do that. And the last thing that I did to assist me not going into that downward spiral into postpartum depression was I started myself going to postpartum groups. And I feel so connected to these other women who just had newborns that have experienced some of the same things I've experienced, or had other experiences that me as a doula I can assist, or just get a more of an insight. And I feel like having that community full of people that understand, and it's not just, we all have those friends that don't have kids that, like, oh, I get it, I understand, but it's like until you have a baby, you kind of don't. There's nothing wrong with and being around people, a midwife or birth educator there to help pull resources that's going to assist your birth journey. It's gold. It's golden. Find you a postpartum group. I love the in-person ones. I'm an in-person kind of person, and the virtual one that I am going to host, I hope it's going to serve everybody, and align them in what they need to feel heard and to get the tips that they need. Um, Definitely subscribe to the tribe. I'm going to host it virtually once a week. Probably it would be better on Saturday or Sunday for me. If you're watching this video, go ahead and comment Saturday or Sunday, which would be better for you. But it's also going to be an open forum, so it won't just always be live. You can be in there and chat. I'm going to figure out if I'm going to host it on Facebook or if I'm going to host it on my website. So this is Positive Ashley. I just shared my 5 tips on how I escaped postpartum depression. And if you feel depressed, for one, if you have a therapist, go all out in therapy. 2, find your tribe or find that other person that you can vent to. Start building that tribe of support, whether you need somebody to go run errands for you, come over so you can sleep and they have the baby. Whatever it is, there's so many tricks of the trade to help relieve your stress and falling into that depression, because it's really hard to get out of depression. We do not want you to go there. So I just finished breastfeeding my little babe. She's passed out now, and this was a great way to go live and share. So subscribe to the tribe. Tell me where you live, in the comments, just the city or state, and I'll be able to cater to you all a lot better. So peace and love. I hope you're enjoying your new mommy journey.